Everybody, and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host and disembodied hands, Quindy, Justin, John, and Kiki. Kiki, come on up. Hey, Dingo. Come here, Dingo. Up. Yeah, good girl. Good girl. Hi, face. Good girl. Yeah, that's my good girl. She's like, I don't like to jump up on mom anymore because I know it's not permitted. So I'm just going to get up on this chair. Good girl. All right. All right. No, I'm not going to let you sit here and eat your bed. No, I'm not going to let you sit here and eat your bed. I'm not exiled. Good girl. Yep. Good girl. Kiki. Good girl. I'll be back. Oh, dear me. Oh, she's a dingo, all right. Well, I guess she's a good dingo in that she's a dingo and she's good at it. Oh, my hair everywhere. Everywhere here today. How's it going, guys? Yeah, I'd rather not buy dolphins over the interwebs. I kind of try not to trade in intelligent mammals. I think it's just kind of like a life guide for me. Don't trade in intelligent mammals. Yeah, I think that's about it. She's matured a lot, Pendrake, in the last month. She's maturing earlier than my other Shilohs did. Alrighty, so we've got our little Chica here, and the first thing I'm going to work on is I'm going to work on this guy's green today, his spell effect. I want to get rid of any shinies, go over the top with opaque paint, so that I get rid of some of that shiny effect. The shininess just isn't working for me. It's going to, I mean, I could work it that way if it was consistent, but what I find it does is it just makes it look like slimy, so I don't want that. No, it's probably what it is. It's probably the fact that it's an outcross, Pendrake. Fresh genetics. The more inbred you are, the longer time you take to develop, is generally what is seen. And outcrosses seem to develop faster. They also are develop faster even from puppyhood. Bridget just texted me about this the other day. She has a litter right now that's purebred Shiloh compared to Kiki's litter, which had the outcross in it. And Kiki's litter developed much faster at all the early development stages. They were far ahead of the purebred. So but yeah, so I'm almost certain it's the genetic diversity giving her an edge. All right, I'm going to grab some Naga Green. I'm going to try to essentially do a heavy kind of glaze over the top of this. Glaze or wash. What you doing, Dingo? She's brought all her toys to the gate. Don't chew the rug or I'm going to have to put you somewhere else. Kiki, what are you doing? Are you going to be better in here? I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe it. Waterhound is part of the outcross, Pendrake, but this has been noticed in breeds not using those breeds, as far as outcrossing. The Treveran outcross also developed faster. So, although you're right, the actual breed used probably does have an impact as far as how it develops. Kiki, what you doing? Can you just settle? Sorry, she's being restless today. She's a restless, whiny dog today. But yeah, I don't know what Waterhound's energy level is though, Pendrake, because they're a hunting dog. And that can be variable, right? So, but you're probably right. The breed probably does have an impact. She is more Waterhound than Poodle, so. I'm going to grab just some Naga Green. I'm going to grab I'll grab 3 drops of it. I'm going to put 2 drops, maybe 1 drop of water, and we'll see. Well, kinda and not kinda. She probably, she doesn't always bring toys because she wants to play. Like, when she brings the toys and puts them by the door, it's just that she wants to sit and watch me with her toys. It's, interestingly, it's David that she loves to play with. She's not as much into playing with me. Like, we'll play, but we play differently. Ah, yes. Well, I'm glad she's a lot better. Maybe she just ate something weird. Huh, Kariniko? Or maybe it was a hairball. Who knows with cats, right? All right, so I want to thin this enough that I can get a fairly solid coat. This is actually probably pretty good. It is fairly thin. Remember, I want to pick up the color on these transparent parts, and I want to get rid of the shinies. So I'm just going to paint over what I've already done. And get rid of the shinies. Don't want the shinies. Wrong appearance. And I'll go back and rehighlight. It's okay. But that makes the arrow on the end show up better, which is great. Yes, she's his first dog. David has not had a dog before. Well, except for having, like, spending about 8 months with Kiri before Kiri passed. But Kiri was definitely my dog. Part of it, I think, is his scarcity. David has scarcity because he goes to work every day and I don't. When he's here, she just wants to play with him. Like, all the time. And she just likes the way he plays. I think their energy levels are suited to each other. Like, that can be a thing. Because he likes to play with her, like, really fast. Like, he likes to, like, take her toys and whip them really fast. And she likes that. And I'm not into that. Like, that's not really the way I like to play with her. So on the other side, she also jumps up on him more than she does with me. So there's a downside. So there's what I got now. And hopefully I've covered all of the transparent stuff. But I still have all those little kind of, like, you know, spurs and stuff coming out. Which I wanted. So now I can go back and repaint those once I have this dry. And it should take all the shiny out so that I can create more of a glow effect. But the swell effect looks a lot better. So I'm happy about that. There we go. So yeah, so that's looking nice. Same maturity level. There are some dog trainers that think that dogs get along better with those that are more their energy level specifically, including other dogs. And I've seen this in action for sure, where, you know, a dog with a lower energy gets irritated at a dog with a high energy. But a dog with a high energy that runs into an even higher energy dog will not necessarily like that even higher energy dog. So I'm going to keep the black base here just because it lets us see. Otherwise it tends to disappear a little bit against our backdrop. So we'll keep it around. Hey, a quadruple-anniversary. All right, here we go. Wait. We gotta do quadruple-anniversary because that quadruple-anniversary is too easy to sing. So, quadruple-anniversary, 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 quadruple-anniversary. Yes, I could have stuck the happy in there, but I don't know that I'm that energetic today. Congrats to Jared on the 48 months. 4 years of watching this insanity. Some days I have more energy than others. What can I say? Miss Clicky Paws, what's up? Do you want to come in here? Miss Clicky Paws is like being a silly girl. Do you want to come in here? Are you going to be good if I let you in here? The answer is no. Yeah. Yeah, all right. Come on in. Yeah. But if you chew a hole in that bed, then it's going away. It's going in the trash. So if you don't want your bed in the trash, do not chew a hole in it. We'll see how she does. Hi there, Keeks. Gotta settle, okay? We're working on it. Mostly she just wants to come in and play with her bed, I bet. All right, so I'm going to grab a dark purple. What kind of dark purple do we want to use? We could use Imperial. We could use Monarch. Also alert, Quindy, my back's a little twitchy today, so we'll take it easy on it. For Twitch reasons. Yeah, right. Small Scottish cat had fun. Oh. Yeah, Kiki. Settle down. So, Monarch is more of a reddish purple. It's slightly darker than Imperial. We also have Styx Purple, which is a more grayed out purple. Remember, we were going to do this guy in green and purple. So what purple are you guys feeling? Yeah, my poor back is having an issue. For sure. So are we feeling any particular purple is my question. A reddish purple I'd rather not go with. Even though it's the straight complement of this. But I'd rather save my reddish purples to maybe go, like, highlight. Hey, Quinn, you want to pop up a quick... Looks like nobody wants Styx, so we'll just eliminate Styx. Yeah, the spell is working out. The bottom one is Styx Purple. Imperial is more blue. Monarch is more reddish and more transparent. So to use it, we'll be changing it a little bit. And then Styx. Those are our... I guess I could turn them right side up so that you aren't all trying to read upside down, which I don't have a problem with, but which some people probably do. There we go. Hey, Keekers, you dweeb. Oh, and I wanted to say, today my book promotion starts. So if you want the ebook, it is currently 99 cents. If you want to own it. Obviously, if you are a Kindle Unlimited person, you can read it for free at any time. But you can go search East of the Sun, Becker, and you will find my book. And yeah, so it's on... Thanks, Quindy. So yeah, it's on Amazon. And it's for sale on both Amazon in this country and Amazon UK. But of course, with the ebook, it doesn't really matter where you buy it from, probably. There's like a limit as to which countries you can run a Kindle Countdown deal in, so I was limited to those two. Hard mode challenge. I don't know. I try to always make it easy for you, Quindy. I don't... Kiki, what? Please do not destroy your bed. She's trying to destroy her bed. If she destroys that bed, then she's not getting another one. So, if they read it, Slalom. So, the way that Kindle Unlimited works, if y'all didn't know, is that Amazon essentially throws a huge pot of money, like all the income they get from their Kindle Unlimited subscriptions, and maybe they toss in bonuses and stuff like that too, I think. But it becomes a giant pot of money. And then at the end of every month, you essentially, the number of pages that people read in your book from your Kindle Unlimited translates to a certain percentage of a cent for each page. So if I, like a book of my length, which is almost 400 pages, I'm going to get about $2 if you read all of it with Kindle Unlimited. Which is a little bit less than I get if you normally buy it at $4.99, but it is more than I would get if you buy it at 99 cents. And it's about the same if you buy it, like the Countdown deal actually slowly goes up, so it'll be $2.99 in a few days. If you buy it at $2.99, I get exactly the same amount if you read it on Kindle Unlimited or buy it at $2.99. Do not recommend. Oh yeah, I need to vote. Oh wow. Interesting. Oh, I could be the tiebreaker. I have to stop that. I don't want to be the tiebreaker. I don't want to be. I'll wait. I'll wait for you guys to either choose or maintain your tie. So this one is more muted. This one is more blue. This one is more reddish, but also more transparent. But yeah, I'll let you guys go. And if there is no tiebreaker among you, then I will make the final determinant. But yeah. Yeah, extra votes or channel points would go a little crazy. It's tie broken. It's tie broken. Unless somebody else puts it. Oh, it's firmly tie broken. Firmly tie broken now. 2 votes. You have a few seconds left, guys. Imperial Purple is in the lead. Everybody likes Imperial Purple. And it's almost done. It's almost done. It's almost done. Bink! Imperial Purple is the winner. Kiki dog. What a dweeb. She's such a dweeb. You're such a dweeb, dog. That's an 80s or 90s reference. Yes. Yes, your parents are from previous decades, Pa. Yeah, it's true. You are such a... Her bed is one of those big floppy beds, and so she loves to kick it around and dig at it and, like, throw it back and forth with her mouth. She's just crazy. You're a crazy dog. And she loves to dig it, yeah. The next bed I get her is going to be like a stiff memory foam bed that is plainly only for lying on. They actually have them on sale right now at my local pet food warehouse, so I'm like thinking about heading over there. You finally voted for the winner. Cool. Oh, Keekers. Oh, Keekers. You going to destroy it? Yeah, are you going to destroy it? I almost want you to destroy it so I don't have to worry about it anymore. They were cheap beds. That's the last bed that exists. There were 3 of them that were Kiri's old beds. Hi. Because we had a bed for Kiri in my office and in the main room and in the bedroom. Separate beds because they were inexpensive. But I think Keeker's going to put paid to this one. If you destroy it, Kiki, then it doesn't come back, you know. I already stitched it up once because the hole was very small. So let's go Imperial. Let's actually block in purple on this guy today. Spend some time. And we'll see how this purple works with everything else. So I want a bigger brush. Where is, I'll use my number 1. My number 1 or my number 2. Since I bought these at the game store when we were at the Mark Masklin's thing. I have a number 1 and a number 2 Series 7, Winsor Newton. So either one is usable. The number 2 obviously needs some breaking in. It's having some issues. These are very fat brushes with not a lot of taper until they get to the very end. Brushes with this shape are more prone to splitting, I find. That's why I like my long pointy brushes. I find that I have fewer problems with them. But we'll use the number 1. I'll have to break in the number 2 on one of my busts. Boop. I'm still debating doing another spell effect in the other hand, but I don't know if I have that much oomph for this guy. Like, sometimes you get an idea for a project, but it's just actually not that exciting of a model, and so you're just like, maybe not. I'm kind of in that camp right now. Depends. So we actually do have a couple of different colors here, and what I'll probably do is just go black with the cape, with maybe a purple panel down the middle. Oh, I also have a mold line that I totally didn't get, so I'm going to get that. Hey, Wasser. Ah, Mouseling. Mouseling, huh? So I'm just trying to get this little mold line out of here. Doing some scraping. Any weird flailing motions that you see behind me are Kiki trying to destroy her bed. Yeah, Keekers. You are. You're trying to destroy it. I know it. Almost got it. We're almost there. I think we're pretty much got it. we go. Excellent. I was going to do a panel down the middle because that'll help separate it. Because we want to separate our purple from our black. So so the sleeves are still purple, right? Because that's the underrobe. And you can paint right over green stuff. You don't need to prime it. You can if you want. Have you destroyed it yet, Kiki? Yeah? Are you going to destroy it by the end of the stream? But because the sleeves here are purple, I would keep a black border on the outside of the cape and do purple on the inside. I mean, I've done it, Wasser. I think a few people have done it. It's not a difficult style. It's very punchy. I'm actually coaching somebody on doing a model in Frazetta style right now. And I've done 2 PDFs on it, analyzing his style for mini painting. And showing the start of a paint job done in that style for my Patreon. I think you could probably find it if you search Frazetta on my Patreon. Because I feel like his style actually does lend itself to mini painting, but you want to have the right model for it. Big, muscly barbarian guys work well, obviously. Although Frazetta, I mean, obviously, both the type of model for Frazetta and there are also things about Frazetta's style that they're kind of idiosyncratic and they might not work great on a miniature. Like, one of the trademarks of Frazetta is that he focused his detail and his light in one particular area, and the particular area of most interest and impact, and everything else he faded out. So, like, the legs of models would fade into nothing. Like, they would just fade into umber. So if you did that on a miniature, you almost have to paint it in, like, a kind of a diorama base where you can kind of make that work, where you can control the surroundings. Otherwise, though, it's just a very bold style done in very naturalistic, like, you're using oil painter colors if you want to really, not necessarily oil paints, but you want to use the ochres and the umbers. Like, he is a big brown umber, yellow ochre, red oxide user. Probably burnt sienna. And you can see that if you analyze his skin colors. He also was fond of using green in skin. Although often I think that green was more a result of the ochre mixing with black than some minis would. The one that I chose to use for my kind of illustration of it was the Spartan from Scale 75, the Leonidas, which is a perfect model to use for it. Because it's almost the model is almost sculpted in a Frazetta kind of way. But yeah, there's probably a couple of models that might work in Reaper. Hey, Keeks. Oh, Keeks has destroyed her bed. Pardon me while I rescue the fuzz so she doesn't eat it, because she's gonna. You're done. You're done. You're done. You're so done. Bye, exiled. And your bed is now destroyed. Yep, it's going in the garbage. Yep, you didn't learn. You have not learned. Yep, garbage. Yeah, I'm not going to rescue it again. Yep. Nope. 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 Yep, you screwed it up, Papa. You screwed it up. I gave you a chance. Gave you a chance to be a good girl, and you were a bad girl. So that's, now you lose your bed forever. No more beds. Pardon me while I clean this up, guys. I just don't want her getting pieces of the fuzz. She gutted it. That was fast. I was trying to keep half an ear. There we Yeah, so to paint it Frazetta style, you really want to study his work, obviously. Kind of pick out the things. If you're on my Patreon, do look up those PDFs. I think they're $10 PDFs, but I don't remember it. But they were long, so probably they're $10 PDFs. All right, the bed is dead. Long live the bed. The last of Kiri's beds, yeah. Respects to the dog bed, yep. Total F for the dog bed in chat, yep. I'm paying respects. But, yeah. Now she'll go and destroy a tennis ball instead. Along with the floor. She doesn't actually. She destroys, she just likes stuffed things. She likes to gut them. Where did I put that? I put that in there. But yeah, so Frazetta's got, he's got the dramatic highlights and shadows things going on. My Frazetta book is down there somewhere. He's got the clusters of detail thing going on, and he's very, what parts he emphasizes depends on the model. Or the subject, I should say. Can't tell if that's a belt. It kind of feels like a belt holding those pouches, so I'm going to hold that there. Then we've got our mantle with a hood. And we have to ask ourselves here what we're going to do. Because the hood could be a part of the mantle, and it probably is. In which case it needs to be the same color as the mantle. Or it could be the color of the underlying, but then I can't use purple on the cape. So I think I'm going to do a purple panel down the middle here, and I'll make the hood black. Yeah, she'll just eat the fluff, and then it'll upset her guts, Volvna, so I'm going to just remove it and not allow her to do it. She's pretty much never going to get another stuffed animal. Yada yada. So I'm going to leave I'll probably go out to this this fold, and I'll leave that last part black, and I'll do purple in the middle, and I'll probably do a little freehand back here. Yeah, Papa, you killed it. Sorry. She came to the gate and staring at me. No, you killed it. It's all dead. But yeah, I hope she outgrows this. Like, my other dogs pretty much did. But she is a chewer. She is definitely a power chewer. So, we'll see. Like I said, I may get her one of those big memory foam rectangles because that won't be floppy. She won't be able to, like, manipulate it, so it may not trigger that instinct in her. We'll see. Yeah. All right, so we'll do that. We already did that. I try not to duplicate. Yeah, I know you're joking, Kodiak. You could do it on this one because it's like so boring. It's such a very static figure, right? So anything to spice it up. I'm gonna grab some Dragon Black to put in my blacks. That'll let the purple dry so I can put another coat in on it. I'm pretty sure they do make like ballistic nylon covered dog beds. Pendrake, the problem is just that then the dogs don't like to lie on them in my experience. Actually, there is one bed we have that she has not destroyed, and that's actually the one in her bedtime crate. It's actually the old center cushion from a round kind of donut-shaped dog bed. Or that kind of raised edge dog bed, I should say. It was rectangular. But she does actually lie on that at night. Like, she hasn't destroyed it at all. It's not as big and floppy as those other beds, though. I totally overwatered that, so I'm going to put more paint in it. No, nothing's going to survive a determined dog. Anybody, I mean, you just, in my opinion, you pretty much just resolve yourself to not having dog beds while your dog kind of outgrows that phase, and you try again in a few years and see if they've, have outgrown it. Or you try a different shape or construction of dog bed to see, like, with Kiki, she definitely likes the floppy, like being able to just, like, throw the bed around and heap it up and roll it around and dig it and all that kind of thing. With a stiffer dog bed, like a memory foam dog bed, she wouldn't be able to do that, so maybe it wouldn't trigger it. Slalom, no. This is, I would never, for one thing, green is just not a good color for me, for OSL. It'd essentially turn everything gray. Two, if I was doing it, I'd have to paint the mini as if it's in shadow on the back, which I could do, but that means we're not going to do anything fun back here. But yeah, I'm not interested in doing OSL on this one. I was going to paint this one as if it was in regular light. When you paint a model of it as if it's in regular light, you're not going to see any OSL. Maybe you'll see a tiny bit on the hand here and on the sleeve, but that's all you'll see. Because the spell effect is not going to be brighter than the sun unless you're aiming to make it that way. With spell effects, you can make it that way, but then you have to, like, remember to paint everything else in line with that. But yeah, I haven't figured out what kind of fancy I'm doing this guy, or if I'm just going to do, like, some interesting, like, highlighting on the robe to make it, like, look shinier or something like that. Mostly I wanted to do this guy to show the spell effect stuff. So I'm fine with him if he goes very fast from here on out. Unless I decide to do the spell effect in the other hand and like the display base idea that I had. Which, I can add that at any time up to the point where I want to paint the hand, so. But yeah, green, in my opinion, I don't enjoy doing OSL with green because green will just mute out skin tones because, you've got a lot of red in skin tones typically. So when you choose green, your skin's going to go gray in that light, which is hard to make look right for people looking at the model. And I didn't really want to paint, this is like a model which might benefit from a strong spell effect, but I don't know that it would, because the thing is that there's not a lot of detail here. So, you could maybe make it green up here, but then it's all just kind of like, still kind of dull down here, and the green on the purple would definitely go gray or brown, probably gray. So that wouldn't be a very cool effect. When I choose OSL colors, I'm always thinking about what color that light is going to turn the underlying color of the figure. And I will often choose an OSL color that will interact well with the underlying colors. So like with purple, usually there you want your spell effect color to be maybe a pale blue. It'll react very favorably with purple. You could also go with a pink or a magenta. But going like yellow or green just essentially makes the purple go to brown or gray where the light touches it. Which, even though it's true, it's what would really happen. A viewer might, unless you're really skillful at doing it the rest of it, a viewer might not really understand what you're trying to do there. But yeah, I'm very picky about the models I do OSL on. Like, I think the Mouseling is the model that I most like as far as, like, OSL. The torch was in exactly the right place, and the colors would look good with OSL. But this is actually not the greatest OSL, like, positioning. It's way out here. Although it will reflect on the face, which is the important part of the model. One would argue that it does reflect correctly on an important part of the model if you use it that way. Oh, good. Yeah, there's 2 of them, I think, Wasser. I think there's part 1 and part 2. I'm talking about, the first one I'm analyzing is style, which you want to take a look at if you haven't done it yourself. And the second, I'm talking about execution on that. And I also use a lot of pictures of actual Frazetta paintings that I have from my book that I own. To kind of illustrate what I'm talking about with his style. But yeah, spell effects like this, or lighting effects like this, where it's out away from the mini, I'm not as much of a fan of. At least it's like up. It's on the upper part of the model. But I think the best lighting effects, well, and I just put this out in the free PDF I've just put up on the Patreon on the 1st. But I feel like the best light sources are going to be like up and in front of the model or up against the model. I think they're both easiest and they look the best. Matt, that's because you've lost your black. When your black starts to look gray, what it means is that you've actually highlighted too much. Whenever you're looking at the part of the mini that's black, 75% of that has to stay black. So most people, when they're highlighting black, the problem is they let their highlights get out of control. They highlight maybe half the surface, and then it suddenly looks gray instead. The other thing you can do is to not use a flat gray to highlight your black. You can instead use a brownish gray or a bluish gray or a purplish gray, something like that, which will be interesting enough not to immediately register gray to the eye. When you use a flat gray, the eye will pick that up very quickly, that there's no interest in it, that it's not very natural. And I feel like when you're using that to highlight black, that's where you more often, the eye will pick up that gray and then it'll give extra emphasis to it. So the blacks tend to look even more gray. I almost always use like a blue gray to highlight black, or if I'm doing cloth, I might use a brown gray. I often will just add white to a liner, like a brown liner or a blue liner, and use that color because there's a lot of black in there. Those are the 2 things to do. Those are really the tips as far as highlighting black successfully. So when I go in to highlight this black, I'm going to leave a crap ton of this just flat black. I'm not going to do anything to it because you can't shade it. Black is already black. So all you can do is highlight it, and I'm going to highlight up on these folds. I'm going to highlight a bit down here, and I may pick up the edge here just to show that there's some light there. But other than that, I'm really not going to do anything to the black. And it's a very alien concept for our brains, like when we try to say, no, we actually do not need to highlight a lot. We tend to want to highlight a lot, but here in black, you really don't want to. Just like with white it's the opposite. It's 75% of the surface has to be white or near white, and the rest has to you don't go very dark with the shadows. So, and you don't let your shadows take over. If you do, your white turns gray. So it's just opposite ends of that. Well, if you do have a lot of black, then you do need to highlight it, but you need to figure out how to highlight it to pick out pertinent details. Like, because you still need to have something going on. There's still stuff happening on that. There are folds or there is detail to bring out. But you just have to be selective about where you put those highlights and how big they are. And probably use something other than a flat gray. We'll probably do some freehand back here. I just haven't figured out what. I'm going to make the inside of the hood purple. But yeah, just like with any color when you're highlighting and shading, you've got to control how much highlight and shadow you let take over the area, or you're going to change the color. This happens a lot with red, where people highlight red and it becomes orange. And they're like, what happened? And it's like, well, you put too many highlights on it. Your highlights took over the surface. You lost your mid-tone, and then it looks orange. Alrighty. Then we'll do a second coat, and then we'll go and work on Lady's base. But yeah, there definitely needs to be a second coat of purple on this just to give it a nice solid feel. Yeah, maybe Pendrick, I don't know. I like to make it related to the figure if I can sometimes, unless I'm really not inspired, then I'll just do. I don't know if knot work really suits him. I almost feel like he needs a familiar, though. Maybe I'll go looking for a familiar. Nice solid coat. Like, I almost want to give him a crow on his shoulder or something. There we go. Get that nice and solid, and we're good. Yeah, that's the problem. This guy is totally not the type of character I would mark it on. He doesn't look like anybody in the book. Yeah, my email promotion goes out tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm such a data nerd. Like, I can't wait to get data points to see how well or not well, how effective or not effective the email promotion is. So, very interesting. I've got all my metrics though. I went and copied down my number of reviews, my number of mailing list subscribers, my current rank in the Kindle and bookstores and everything, so I can see when the promotion launches if it has any effect. Is he like zapping somebody because he got interrupted reading his book? Is that the thing? Maybe I can have a You can read as slow as you want. I'm a fast reader, but only if I like have time to get stuck in. I read a lot of my all my nonfiction I listen to on audio instead. Hoping I can get Cory Doctorow to sign my book for me on Friday. And I can get another signed book with an author telling me to keep writing. That's my goal. All right, here we go. All right, so color composition's okay. It's is what it is, right? I have to think about if I want to do freehand, if I want to spice things up a bit. I'll probably do the purple and then decide. But you're right, Pendrake. I mean, doing some sort of freehand down the panels actually makes sense. Because then we can also do a little bit on the cuffs. We can essentially embellish the black. Because the purple has a lot of nice folds, so it's probably going to be pretty cool to paint. Verbal component, shush, yes. Yeah, I did too, but it's a lot of work, Tyler. And I'm not sure that I have enough interest in this model for that. That's the downside. Because, you know, you got to figure out, always on a model when you're thinking about doing this, like, if you're thinking about an ambitious project, make sure the model that you pick is one that really excites you and keeps you happy. Like, that makes you excited to work on it. Because if you get bored, if you're just like, oh, okay, I'm done with the interesting part, well, then it just ends up going to the shelf of lost love. And, you know, I'll finish him because he's for the Reaper stream here. But, you know what? Let's, should we go solidy black everywhere? I think I'm going to bring it up with brown, but I think I'll paint the pouches black for now. That's a good place for an accent color if we have one. Although the problem is that our accent color is like green. But yeah, it would be cool to have him draining a body, but then I'd have to do all that. And so I just don't know if I have the interest. I'm much more likely to finish a big conversion if I really like the model. And I like this guy, but I don't like him, you know? He's like... Yeah, the problem with the left hand is there's like the weird pose that it's in. There's almost nothing you can do with it. I could put a minor spell effect over here, like he's about to shoot with that one too. That's something I'll consider. That's fairly, yeah, I like him as a friend. That's it. He's an acquaintance. This guy's an acquaintance, Big Chimpo. He's not even a friend. I would consider a tiny bit of like green flame or something out of this palm. But remember also we don't have skin tones on here yet. Yeah, if you like this model, then, you know, feel free to steal my idea of him sucking the life out of a body down here. I mean, I could possibly do a little spell effect of him sucking it out of the skull here. We could essentially do the very truncated version of my original idea. I would need to get some really fine wire if I wanted to do that. But it would be possible. Yeah, I'm going to think about it. He's got a lot of dark on him, so we'll have to figure it out. Because we'll have light if I do his beard white, grayish white. We'll have a light skin tone or moderate skin tone. Weirdly, the green is almost our mid at that point, but I'm going to lighten it up. So we're going to have a lot of light and dark on this. The purple is probably going to end up being mid once I bring in all the highlights. So we'll have a dark, a mid, and a light, but our mid is going to be dark even, because he's meant to be kind of an evil figure, so. Well, he's got a skull right down here already. I don't have, like, extra skulls lying around like I used to. I got rid of a lot of my bits when I moved. Let's see. We need a color for Chica's base. And she is orchid purple and black indigo. And I'm going to try to mix a gray from stuff I've got. This is a French thing where if you use them, the colors on the model are used for the basing as well. So let's try to mix a stone color. And this is actually what my $2 PDF is on. It was requested, actually. How to mix interesting grays. So you can expect that in a few days, probably. I'm working on it now on the Patreon, which is why I was thinking about doing this today. So let's see. The difference between a brown and a gray. Let's try some black indigo and then cut it with our parchment color. Which is probably going to give us a greenish color, and then we can add the orchid purple. But yeah, you could put something in his other hand, Pendrake. It's just a question of, you know, do you want to, and what would it be, and do you have the model? All right. So black indigo, the bone color. Gonna just pop a little water in there, mix it up, see how close I am. That's pretty gray. Dang, that didn't go green at all. Though I do feel like I want a little bit more of that bone color. But maybe I want that for my highlight. Maybe I want to use this for my shadow. Because that went gray really fast. So that was black indigo and gnawed bone. And that went to a purpley gray, which I can actually, I don't really need. I was thinking the yellow would come in stronger, but there is a lot of blue and violet pigment in that black indigo, so it just probably overpowered it. So I'm going to pop in this, and then we're going to mix some highlights by adding more of that gnawed bone. And I'll pop some shadows together too. Actually, black indigo can make a really cool shadow for stonework. It works. And I'm using totally the wrong brush. Yeah, it almost is. It's a little purpler, little more bluey purple. Almost, it's almost dark elf skin, but it's not as purple. And we'll get our, of course I took this off of its little block, and I don't know where I put the other block. I need to find a block. Hold on. No, I have an extra block over here somewhere. There we go. That'll work. Need something to stick her on, so I don't have to handle her while I do it. So yeah, you can get, when you mix complementary colors, you're usually either going to get a brown or gray or something in between. If your colors have a lot of blue in them, then you're more likely to go gray than brown. All of this will be in the PDF. Maybe I'll use these as one of the examples since we just did this mix. Hello, Val. Hey, Roger. There we go. Interesting. Let me grab my black indigo. If I just use this for shading, it's going to go very, very blue. I think I want to actually go with a bit of my rogue shadow on this, because we used rogue shadow for her dress, so that's permissible. So I think I want to do a mix of rogue shadow and black indigo for the shadows on the stone here. So I'm going to do mostly rogue shadow with a bit of black indigo, because I know from experience now that the blue and purple in the black indigo are very powerful. So if I don't want them to overpower everything, I need to keep that in mind. Yeah, she turned out better than I thought she would, for sure, Quindy. This was one where I wasn't that thrilled about painting her, but she turned out really well. All right, so rogue shadow. This is going to kind of go to a purple brown. And then if I add just a tiny bit of that bone color, it should go to a very dark gray. That should be a good shadow for this, but I just want a tiny bit. I'm just going to put a little bit on my brush like that. Mix it in, because I don't want to lighten up this color too much here. That wasn't enough though. I need a little bit more. There we go. It's better. That's a nice dark gray. It's got some purpley tones in it also. And now I'm going to thin it a bit. My water bottle lately is a little bit persnickety, however, so I'm going to pop there. Oh, wrong one. And there. Excellent. We can use this to shade with. And we'll work with that. And then I need to build a highlight also for the stonework. So we're going to use this. And then a big brush full of our gray. That's going to build us a more warm gray. We've gotten most of our gray gone, so we'll see if hopefully I don't need to mix that midtone again. Hey there, Miniatures Den. Thank you for the raid. It is alpaca day, isn't it? Like, are we tossing this back to him in like 20 minutes? So today we're just working on mixing some interesting grays for our bases, and we also worked on this guy a little bit. Base coating the spell effect, because there were bits of it that were shiny that I didn't like, so I just did a stronger green on it so that all the details of it would come out. And so we're kind of like working on two things at once, since I was sculpting this guy's base while I was working on painting the other. All right, well, cool. That's cool. I will make a mental note to alpaca in 20 then. It is supposed to be another rainy day here today. It's weird to have it rain so late. Usually it's starting to dry out and get very arid here. So I'm just going to use my mid-dark to kind of outline around some of these stones here. And the cracks that I did. Around the outside edge. And if I go a little bit over the top, that's fine. I still have a lighter gray to play with. Oh, nice. Was it the Big Child Lady of the Lake? From Echoes of Camelot? Or a different one that I haven't seen. Just a bit. And I'm going to end up blocking in more shadows in a moment. But I'll probably thin my paint a little bit more when I do that. So this number 1 Winsor Newton isn't bad. I gotta say. It's pointier. Pointier than I'm used to with this series. It's holding together pretty well. Oh, the Carol Rudick bust. Okay, I haven't seen that one. I like Arthurian stuff. I'll have to go take a look. Not that I need any more busts at this point. I really didn't need my husband to like toss me one of his half-finished busts and go, hey, do you want to finish this? Either. Totally derailed. I was all excited to start one of my own projects, and then he totally derailed me by tossing that in front of me. And normally, I would have just like given him like the side eye and gone, no, and put it back. But it's a bust that I have always wanted to paint of his, that he had that I didn't. And the company that made it is like gone. So it's impossible for me to get a copy. But he lost love with his a while ago. Now he's hoping that I'll pick it up, do some things to it, and he'll get all excited to paint it again, and then he'll come and like finish it. And I'm like, I don't know if collaboration really should work this way. Although I guess that's what you do, right? Aren't Bob and Julie here today? That's what Bob and Julie do. Is like Julie gets like annoyed at a model and hands it to Bob, or vice versa. So I guess that is how collaboration works, and I'm just being silly. I'll have to, let me make a note of that Carol Rudick, Lady of the Lake. Hold on. I'll go look. Lady of the Lake. Okay, I'll look. I like Arthurian stuff. Oh, okay. Okay. Will do, miniature stand. Will do. Yeah, I like Arthurian stuff. So I'm just going to darken in a shadow underneath her, just so she gets a cast shadow. Generalized, not trying to be tremendously accurate, but I do want a little bit of cast shadow here. And there probably is a little bit more here under the book. And a bit more here under the cloth. So just blocking stuff in, figuring out if I like it or if I don't. Pretty informal today. Pretty informal. Shall I show you David's? Here. It's actually older David paint job. It's very interesting how his style, guys, has gotten closer to mine. Like, he started being more realistic. Here, let me go and get the, because maybe Luca's seen this one. I don't remember what company it came from. Hold on. So he blocked her in and did some work on her, and then he just totally abandoned her. And, like, if I really like her, but she needs a lot of work. So this is the one that David wants me to, like, finish for him. Or it's the one David wants me to work on until I've gotten it past its issues, and then he wants to steal it back. So, like, this is because this is David's idea of collaboration. Ah, her arm fell off. That is okay. It's supposed to. It's not actually put on. So the things I like about her is obviously she's got a lot of personality, but I really like all of the scale here, which is all sculpted. The alligator kind of reptilian dragon scale armor, the leather. So I really like that. This side of the face reads pretty well, but he's got his shadows too. Like I said, it's an earlier David, so his shadows are too dark, and I need to, yeah. So, and he's got that stupid, like, David likes to do, like, strong light from one direction and then kind of phone in the back. I was giving him shit about this, but I actually don't like to do that. And I really don't like to do it on this one because all the scale on the back, I really like it. I like this detail. So now I'm like, I don't think he painted her as a drow. This is too Caucasian for drow, I think, Pendrake. But yeah, so that's David. I did. Reprimand me. You notice though, Luca, I only start swearing when you're in the chat. I swear because Luca. Here, slap on the hand. But she can't slap me on the hand because she secretly wants me to mail this model to her when I'm done with it, Miniatures Den. Because Quindy is in love with this model. So I have that. I have that over her. So yeah, people tend to swear. Yep. If only Justin were to send it to me. For God's sake, Justin, send Luca some sexy women is what he's saying. She is great to paint. Like, she's got all the tiny fiddly detail on her, Luca, but she paints up nice. I gotta give her that. Oh, no box. Maybe Custom stole it. So yeah, we'll just keep blocking here. We're not doing anything exciting here. Weekly Wednesday fuss. Yeah, I feel like I need more shadow here. I feel like I want more darkness. Darkness. To quote Hades. And I feel like I want a lot more. I'm just going to stipple. I'm going to start stippling. Stipple, stipple, stipple. I feel like I need to thin that a bit more before I stipple, though. And I need to grab some of this. And I need to stipple that. Stipple, 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 stipple. Lots of stippling. Stipple, stipple. Let's just cut loose, people. Let's just cut loose. So that we can, like, get kind of more interest down here. Pendrake got a Reaper box, but Luca, never. Alright, I'm going to grab this shadow. I do want to get the edges of these a little bit darker. So I can start highlighting with more interesting colors and get more texture on this. But yeah, I don't remember what company that elf bust was from. And I'm not sure if they wanted it to be a dark elf or not. I mean, it could just be an elven rogue. I'm not sure what the box art originally looked like, and David doesn't remember the company, and he doesn't have the box anymore, so... But that's one where when I first saw his copy of it, I was like, oh, I want one. And he's like, oh, the company's out of business. And I'm like, oh. You know. Although, you know what? I might have. Now that I think about it, he might have given me a different model by that company. Maybe I can find out who they are. And maybe I can find a picture then of that elf box art somewhere online. Because, you know, once it's on the internets, it's on the internets. So getting just a little bit more. I want more texture. I want more stone like variants here. Yeah. Yeah, message him yourself. Start sick your legions of fans on him there. Like, that's how Jennifer Haley used to get stuff done. Everybody knew that Jen could just sick her legions of fanboys on you. And nobody wanted that. So, you know. You remember the bust, but don't remember. Yeah, I think he actually bought me a different... It's the lady with the snail. There's this cool bust that David got me. So I'm just, like, now I'm just kind of going around the dark areas that I kind of randomly stumbled on, guys. And I'm adding a little bit of line, almost like marbling, to kind of define those areas and set them apart. So I'm utilizing that just to kind of give me some more randomness to work with. When you sculpt or do something that's really flat... Even though technically at this scale, things would be pretty flat, right? It would be very deep detail to really show up at this scale. But still, doing a stipple and then just picking out some of the random brush texture and then exaggerating that and continuing to work with it is a good way to add more visual interest to some of these areas. There. Now we have lots of like potential cracks or marbling that we can play with. Yep, Pie Crowley. Yeah, I'll try to find I have a lady with snails, and I think she's from the same company that that elf bust comes from. So I'll have to look it up and then see. Because I seem to recall he bought me that as one of the first gifts he got me, actually, after we started dating. So I'll have to see if I can find it. So now I've got this warmer gray color that I mixed out of the bone color and the gray. And I think I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. Start doing more fine texture. And of course, dry brushing, when you're doing something so smooth as this, dry brushing really isn't going to work. I don't know if my paint is quite thick enough. I may have actually thinned it down too much. I think I did. So I'm going to add a little bit more touch of white to it, and that's going to give it more opacity. And a touch of gnawed bone also, since that was what we were using to bring it up. But yeah, it's almost, I only have a few minutes till Luca's back. Luca's back. And I'll have to look at that Carol Rudick, Lady of the Lake. Yeah, I was about to start a Chimera bust. And I have a Black Sun bust and a Chimera bust that I was just about to start before David threw that at my head. And now it's distracting me. So maybe I should just put them away. Put it away. Tell him his ploy did not work. And go back to working on my comic book style orc or my Geisha Samurai Chimera Bust. Both of which I have really clear color concepts for, so. You know, if I hide it, he'll forget it exists for a while anyway. So just doing some little stippling. And as it dries, it blends in more, but it lets you get a little bit more of that texture on the smooth, otherwise smooth stone. And I'm not going straight point down here. I like to use the side of the brush tip because you're not going to crush it then. Any brush tip can get unhappy if you sit there and slam it into a surface, but if you're using the side of it, then it's a little bit better. And I'm getting some of those little dots and textures there. And as I continue to bring those colors up, I can bring up more and more of that texture and focus it around certain areas like edges. And because it's a warmer, there we go. I served Luca up that. That was a real easy one for him. You'll see yourself out, but you'll be back in like 2 minutes. Less. 1 minute. All right. If I do want something to be a crack, I'm going to highlight that edge more solidly. If I want to suggest that that is actually an offset. That's all right. Luca keeps everything in perspective. Makes you guys more grateful for the streams that are not invariably profane. Or maybe it just makes you wish all the streams were invariably profane. I don't know. It depends on you. Alrighty. So just how that's starting to come up, you can see the texture. Look how boring that looks. And then just with a little bit of stippling, how you can bring up a lot of visual interest on the stone and make it look make it look more interesting, even though, you know, it's just the same flat stone as it was. So it's just adding texture with brush stroke. And at this scale, I do a lot of that. 28 millimeter. A lot of sculpted detail would be out of scale. And a lot of people don't care. They'll do it anyway. But I like to do like the paint illusions. Create the illusion with the paint instead of doing everything sculpted. And I like to stipple. It's one of my favorite techniques. So, all right. So my rocks have measles, and we're gonna hand you over to Luca if he's ready. He showed himself out, but is he ready, Quindy? Are we ready to hand our poor fans over to Luca? He is. All right. Excellent. Yep. So we'll just keep going on her, and I'll add some vegetation as well. And yeah, so she's... See, I'm just taking slow on this one, Quindy, because I know that you just want to see her more, so... So this will be the model that we never quite finish, just so it can come and make an appearance on, you know, the day of the week that I work on this model. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for coming today. I know we didn't get a ton done, but we did do a few different kinds of things. We talked about a couple of different kinds of things, and we talked about why I wouldn't do OSL on this, at least not with that color. We talked about Frazetta a little bit, about his painting style and doing it on miniatures. And then we talked about Lady of the Lake and miniatures that we wish our husbands wouldn't throw at us to finish when they really should finish them themselves. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are back to Mouseling. We're back to giant fun size Mouseling. So have a good one, everybody. I have to go and throw Kiki's bed in the trash. And I will see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.